Wrestling fans joining me at this time, he is the Darkhorse, Xander Seabolt. How are you?
I got spooked by that. It was like recording in progress, some robotic woman. Anyway, I'm doing good. How are you, man?
I've never been able to figure out what that is. I don't know if that's Big Brother or if that's something. I can hear it on this side too, but I don't know. It's random voices
I
you
was
hear,
waiting for silence, and then it went, "This meeting is being recorded." I went, huh, okay.
which is weird. I mean, we know that we're being recorded, but either way, it is good to get you on Pro
Yeah.
Wrestling Underground. Welcome to the Underground. I run into you at quite a few different places, many different places that I go to, and we always talk about you being on here. And good to finally get you on here. I got to start with the obvious. Are you within range of the heavyweight title?
Actually, yeah. I just for such an occasion, I made sure I had it on hand. So gonna
Look at
let it
that.
take
That's a
up the whole
beautiful.
screen
That's a
here.
beautiful
There it is.
championship there.
It's pretty, man. It's got all kinds of sequence stones and stuff on it. It's
Oh yeah.
pretty belt.
Oh, they did it right. It's not, some promotions, I get it. The budget's not where it should be. That's not Squared Circle. Squared Circle's like, we're getting the best championship we can get.
100%, 100%.
And for people who don't know, you got that belt when you won the Freedom Fleet Rumble and got the Power Square, which, to kind of put that in terms that maybe some of my audience may understand, it's kind of like a Money in the Bank. It's kind of a call your shot. It's one in the pocket, as I call it.
Yep.
And you didn't wait more than about 30 minutes until uh, is he? I hate to do this on the show because he's going to get mad at me for this. Is he Mother or is he just Stevie Ray out there?
He's Mother Frost.
Okay, Mother
Uh,
Frost. Now technically he's both for people who don't know, and if you hadn't been
he
around
is.
Frost here recently, you don't quite understand, but just know he's tapped into a different level, and it's on that Mother level right now. But yeah, he had just won his first blood match, maybe.
Yep.
He had just won a first blood match, and while you may have been impressed by his performance, you also looked at that. You also looked at that power square, and you went, "This seems like a good opportunity."
Yeah. He uh, he kind of did some nefarious things to me in the weeks up leading up to that. I had a shot to actually wrestle Nick Halen for the championship a while back, and he meddled in all that because him and Nick have had some problems, and I didn't take too kindly to that. So he kind of, got my business too and messed what I had going on up. So one thing led to another. Beat last person I eliminated was Lev at that Freedom Fleet Rumble, and I
Ooh,
had the power square. And then I just, you know what? I'm going to call my shot. 500 people, the largest crowd in Royston Dome history, and there it was, and I did it.
absolutely. And let's go to there because I don't. I guess is that the biggest crowd you've performed in front of to this point?
Probably. There've been a couple Southern Fried crowds that were right up there with it, but definitely the biggest crowd we've ever had at the Royston Dome. Probably I think the biggest crowd they've ever had in Royston ever for wrestling, which takes into account a lot of years of wrestling history.
Hmm.
Billy Bell promoted Royston for 30 years.
Hmm.
The Royston Dome's been there for the last 20. And, that's a lot of wrestling history that you take into account. But 500 people thereabout was the final total. So
Wow.
right up there with the biggest crowds I've ever wrestled in front of, and definitely one of the rowdiest and most involved crowds I've ever been in front of. They loved everything.
And I mean, first off, that's all. I mean, not awful. That's awesome. So I get trying to think twice here. That's awesome to see 500 plus people packing out a place that they normally don't. Wrestling is really running hot right now. It's becoming popular with everybody, which is really nice. We're seeing crowds a lot of other places. Um, I want to go to that moment because it's a moment I haven't had, and I would have to actually train and get in the ring to do this. But what's it like when you hear that bell ring and they say your name and they hand you that championship you just had there, and you go, "This is mine."
It's a lot of things, a lot of things. It's very gratifying for me. Having this is I just finished up. I'm entering my sixth year in the wrestling business now, but 5 years full time, 3 years full time wrestling, and so I trained at the Landmark Arena originally as a manager, and I did some training there to wrestle and whatnot. But the Royston Dome SCA was really the first place I got an opportunity to wrestle. Uh, when I made that transition, I reached out to the guys there, and I was like, "Hey, can I come in and wrestle? Probably not gonna be any good, but I want to do it. I want to take the shot." And they were
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, doors open." And I came in. It's been almost 3 years I've been there, pretty much just since SCA started. I think I was there by week 4. Uh, so I've been there for pretty much the beginning of all that, and to get to wrestle the guys I've got to wrestle and experience the things I've got to experience because of that place. It's very liberating. It makes me very proud to, kind of shoulder the company on my back and carry that on and be an ambassador for it. So that was a lot of the things that went through my head at first. And I had my best friend Blake Blackwell, who's a ring announcer, commentator. Ringside, he was there. He got to call it, which was very awesome because we've wanted to be in this since we were 5 years old. We've known each other for 18 years,
Oh.
uh, and we've wanted to be in it since the day we met. We had basically matching binders in fifth grade with cutouts from the WWE magazines of guys like Andre the Giant, whatever. We had them shoved in our binders, and I mean we've taken this entire journey together from the same town and everything, and we started at the exact same time at the same place. So to have him at ringside was really awesome, and I had some of my family, my in-laws there, some friends, and of course the guys in the back, and everybody who's supported me along the way. So it was very awesome to do it there and in front of that crowd. And I mean, I wish I could sum up the emotions in just a couple words, but I couldn't. It's impossible because wrestling means everything to me. Uh, as it's basically my lifeblood. So it was very awesome to win my first major, I guess, sort of championship right there in my home.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know you've won tag championships out at Premier and some other places too, but to get that top championship at such a place that means so much to you, and it's part of your roots like that, that's just amazing. And I'm glad you got that opportunity. I'm glad you cashed in. I will stay neutral as far as the results of it because I run into that other guy a few places too. But I
Well, I
mean,
liked
honestly,
Stevie
too.
well enough until he became possessed by whatever the spirit of mother is, and now he's completely gone off the deep end. So I had to do what I had to do, and he's just a casualty of war. But maybe he'll step back up to the plate. Maybe I'll knock him back off again.
There you go. That's the thing about going off the deep end. You got to make sure there's water in the pool.
Yes, yes. I I I don't know if there's water in his pool or if he just smacked the bottom of it face first, but either
He
way, I
might
mean,
like it too.
he's very formidable person. He's a very formidable wrestler. Uh, just a shame what happened to whatever possessed his mind and whatever's turned him into mother, that vessel, that person he's become because of that spirit. But oh well.
Exactly. And that reminds me. Not only is he quite the person to get that big win again, he is currently, as of that list that came out the other day from Georgia Wrestling History, he is currently considered the number 21 overall male wrestler in Georgia that you just got that big win over. So you beat a top 25 guy. Uh, so that's just another notch in the belt there.
It's very cool. not only he wasn't he's definitely one that absolutely deserves to be on that list. Um, One that, has been overlooked in this state for a very long time, in my opinion. Uh, and if it took Mother getting him to that point, then all's well and fair. But he's one of those guys. He's a Royston original also, who's spread out, grew his wings, and he's been running the roads for quite a few years now. I think about 10 years. So the fact that he's finally starting to get some recognition for all the work he's put in and how good he is. I mean, that's one thing I'll say about him. Frenemies or whatever, or Mother, anything aside, he is a very, very good wrestler.
Hmm.
Uh, it's awesome to see him on that list, and other guys like Jacob Ashworth,
Yeah.
who is one of my best friends. He's one of the best wrestlers I've ever watched in person. I mean, he's not, there's nothing especially flashy. He's not doing flips. There's nothing especially, but he's captivating in such a unique way that you can literally put anybody. I was put in the ring with Jacob a lot, uh, in my first year or so as a wrestler. And I learned more from Jacob Ashworth wrestling him than I could have possibly learned probably wrestling anybody else in that span of time. How many times we got in the ring and how much he just taught me, and all of this moments we spent in the locker room and all the time we've been friends and everything. It's very cool to see a couple of those guys kind of break that barrier, and it's not the guys that you normally see on those lists, which are all very formidable guys as well. Nothing against them, but to see these guys start to come on this list after so long is
Hmm.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely is. And lists are what they are. I get when people say that too, but lists can be very motivational too. And that's what I like about them is they're all subjective and it gets people talking. And like you said, sometimes it brings up people that somebody else wasn't thinking about or that somebody else was, and they just hadn't put it together yet. So, but you mentioned Jacob Ashworth, who is the other half of the Sons of the Wild Side tag team that it is you and him in Premier All-Star Wrestling. And before I get to your opponents coming up, um, I'm curious what you guys have done to get on the bad side of Shane Knowles, who is kind of the new GM or something like that, but he has made it his business. At first, I thought it was just a John Johnson thing, your manager, but Shane makes it his business to come out there with a microphone in hand to get in the middle of your business almost every time you're out there.
Well, I think Shane Knowles is a historical promoter in the state of Georgia. Peach State Wrestling Alliance for many,
Hmm.
many years was one of the top promotions in the state. I also think Shane's way in over his head. I think Shane's messing with the wrong guys. I think Shane, I don't know what his obsession is with John the Body Johnson, who is, by the way, the greatest manager to ever work in the state of Georgia, in my opinion. uh, the accolades and the list of stuff he's done, not only as a manager, but as a ring announcer, as a commentator, as everything in this business in the last 30 years. JJ is among the best in everything. But
Hmm.
I don't know what Shane's problem is. He's got this obsession with JJ. He's got to stick his nose in our business, and that's well and good. I guess Billy Knight said the right things to Shane to make him happy and made him the commissioner. Uh, Whatever, that's not my business, but his business is becoming my business because he's getting in my business. And you can throw bricks, you can throw rocks, you can throw a freight train at me and Jacob Ashworth, and we're gonna run right through it. And I guess July 25th is gonna be no different uh, with who he's got lined up for us, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
He
Uh,
does.
I wish I could say that I was intimidated. I wish I could give you a good story and say that I'm afraid of those guys, but I'm not. I'm on top of the world right now. I'm not pretending like I'm one of the best in the state or anything, but I'm on top of the world. I've got the SCA Heavyweight Championship. I've featured prominent positions in every place I'm working because I am good. And July 25th, I mean, Gallows and Anderson, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a fight, but it ain't nothing me and Jacob's ever done before. And we're going to do what we always do. So Shane Knowles can take his commissionership or whatever he wants to do, and he can stick it where the sun don't shine. You saw what happened to Peach State. If Shane stays in charge of Premier, it might.
Yeah, there you go. I mean,
What do you got to say to that, Jeremy?
I can't. There's not really a rebuttal to that. For one, those are factual. That Peach State was ran famously by Shane Knowles. Shane Knowles is the current commissioner of Premier, and Peach State is no longer functioning as an organization. So, I mean, and quickly to go back to what you said about John Johnson is, I had no idea who he was until I had heard the name. Hadn't really crossed paths with him until about a year ago. And like you said, just in the last calendar year, if you look at the accolades of people he has managed, and he's not a figurehead. He doesn't just stand out there and sell popcorn. He don't stand out there and pick his nose. No, he very much is making sure that his guys end the night on top. And my goodness, the list of accomplishments in the last, I'd say, 8 to 10 months rival what some people do in a career.
JJ is first off, he's somebody you need to have on this show. I'm not telling you how to run your podcast or anything, but you absolutely need to bring JJ on because he is a wealth of information and a wealth of knowledge in this business. Not only about the wrestling business as a functioning business, but he's a historian. He was a fan of Georgia wrestling before being a fan of Georgia wrestling was fashionable. He was a fan of North Georgia wrestling back in the day, and Joe Pedicino on TV with superstars of wrestling. He was. I mean, he's been a Georgia wrestling guy pretty much since the day he was born. Uh, and he's been in the business for 30 years. He's he's done and seen just about everything at least once, and he'll tell you because we talk about it all the time. I think this has been JJ's best year of the business in 15 years. Uh, the amount of stuff he's done, and all those years he was ringing out, singing, commentating. He's won Georgia Wrestling History Awards in the past for that. And I think he won Manager of the Year a couple times too. I'm not sure, but he's won
So,
ring announcer he's won ring announcer and commentary awards in the past, and it just proves how much of an everyman he is, and he can do that stuff and still be such an effective manager. But he is among the best overall people in this business, especially in the state of Georgia, for just about anything you need him for. Uh, and he is one of my mentors, one of my many mentors, but one of my primary mentors. He was literally there at the arena the day I walked in the door and started training. Uh, so, I mean, he literally has seen me from the very beginning. And one of the things that one of the things he tells me or told me then that I've carried with me uh, throughout my entire career is learn everything that you can learn so you're always useful somewhere. And that's something he's excelled at. He's a ring announcer, he's a commentator, he's a manager, he can edit videos, he can book, he can promote, he can literally do everything there is to do in this business. And
oh
he's
yeah,
really good at all of it. So I love him. He's one of my best friends.
yeah, absolutely. I saw some of the fan questions that the producer was sending this way. We did get fan questions in. I want to throw this one out real quick because we've actually hit on it already. So apologies to Ross from Georgia Wrestling History, and he does a great job with all the stuff he does as well. His question was about the atmosphere at when you won the night you won the title and everything, and I mean, this is how cool of a night that really is. That we danced around the one of the other highlights. Maybe not as big as the highlight you had, but um, that was such a special show, and it was such a special moment for you that even a WWE Hall of Famer was in the house to see you get that achievement. I mean, that he couldn't miss it.
Yeah, it's a testament to how far Squared Circle Action has come from the APW days and even before that. That we were able to host Avery Styles' first wrestling match and to have AJ in the building,
Yep,
uh, which was awesome, and all the media coverage and everything that surrounded that. And I'm not gonna pretend like my moment was the thing that brought him there because I'm not I'm not stupid, you know. Uh, the thing that put 500 people in that building was Avery, AJ, and Ashton Martin. Those were the three people that put those people in that building. And I'm going to give Ashton as much credit as I give Avery for that because Ashton did his work and Ashton's been doing his work. And he was on those websites just the same as Avery was. He was in PWI. He was on Fightful. He was on Chris Van Fleet. You know, that name has now been seen around the world, and that's just he's some kid from Athens, you
hmm
know. But he's been seen everywhere, and Avery's been seen everywhere. And the fact that we were able to host that first match and to have AJ in the building, uh, was very very awesome. The whole atmosphere of that entire night, uh, because we had expected a large crowd, obviously.
sure,
But the pre-sales were insane. We sold out a front row. I think we sold out a front row in 13 hours. You know,
that's
which
impressive.
for a wrestling show for the fact that it's our by our standards that was insane. And I can tell you that of all the wrestling shows I've ever had any knowledge of ticket sales in terms of that in terms of the indies or in terms of Georgia wrestling, we announced that AJ and Avery were coming at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. By 3 o'clock on a Saturday, first row was completely gone and half a second row was gone. So most of that time is people sleeping. So that's like
Yeah,
what, 9 hours, 9 active hours of ticket sales, and we sold over 100 seats in 9 hours.
yep,
Uh, so that already tells you the atmosphere of the place, and to have all the moments that took place in that building that night, they're going to be ingrained in those guys' minds forever. Not just Avery and Ashton and AJ.
yeah,
They're going to remember me winning the championship. They're going to remember seeing Mother Frost. They're going to remember
hmm
seeing Nick Halen. They're going to remember seeing a guy like Billy Buck, who, differences aside, his music hit and he got a Hulk Hogan pop. I mean,
yeah.
as soon as his music hit, they lost their minds, just because he's Billy Buck. And to have that atmosphere in Royston after all of the work that we've put into it, not just me, but everybody on the roster, everybody in the back, everybody who has put anything into that place, to have that kind of atmosphere was extremely gratifying.
Yeah, and as you said, Ashton Martin was making the rounds that week before. He was actually on this very show as well, just days before he took on Avery. So it's good to get to see him get as much push as he has gotten from this, and he wasn't just forgotten as another member of it. But yeah, like you said, it's something we said before this show started was, Hogan Andre is what brought everybody to WrestleMania 3, but it's probably the third or fourth thing somebody mentions when you ask them about the show. There was 4 or 5 other matches on there that just people went away talking about. And like you said, people may say, "Hey, I bought a ticket because Avery Styles with AJ Styles was going to take on Ashton Martin, and I bought a ticket for that." But man, I went away and seeing Mother Frost lose his championship to Xander, who cashes in. Man, that was crazy the way this did. Or like you said, or Billy Buck come out and the place just roof goes flying off, and people are going to remember all of those other moments once they were there.
Yeah, man. And I think that was the goal of everybody was to show up and show out.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Everybody knew that they had a mission, a purpose going into that show. Obviously the guys in the main event knew what their mission and purpose was, but the guys from the opening match to the Rumble and everybody in the Rumble. I think it was 23 people in the Rumble. You know, guys who were on all levels of the card, guys who hadn't been there in years. Guys like Curtis Coleman had wrestled, you know, in several years, and he got a
I heard
good
he's retired,
reaction
brother.
when he came out. Yeah, right. But you know, everybody on that show knew they had a purpose, and that was to show out. You only
Yeah,
get you're only as good as your first impression, right? And we have a first impression, you know, in front of the audience that we get every week, which I'm not, you know, demonstrating them by any means. We get a good house every week, you know, but it's no secret that, like I said, it was the biggest crowd we've ever had in that building for anything. And everybody on that show had a purpose. Everybody on that show had a mission. Uh, Big Andy and Big Bad Brendo, you know, two super heavyweights, massive guys who move like they're half their size, who wrestle like they're monsters, you know, and they captivated that crowd so
hmm,
much, and they got such a good reaction from that crowd because they understood the purpose. The program understood their purpose.
hmm.
Everybody from the top to the bottom to the middle of the card, everybody knew what they had to go out there and do, and that was show out. And I think they did that, you know. So I'm proud of everybody on that show. I'm proud of Ashton. He's a really good kid. Um,
Yeah.
he's earned it. I remember the first time I ever saw him wrestle was at an outside show for Nerd U, and he showed up in a suit, and I was like, "Who the hell is this kid? Why? What is this guy's deal?" And just to see his growth, man, from that to what he's doing now, not just at SCA but all over the state, is it's very cool. And again, to have Avery's first match there, and they did a really, really, really good job with that. And then the moment of all time to have AJ in the ring,
Yeah.
doing all of his stuff, and you know the styles clash at the end, and the father counting the pinfall for the son was just a icing on the cake.
Oh yeah. It's just you can't write it any better.
And
But
who would want
it
to?
right, right. I mean, there's no better way for that to go than the way it went, and that's you just you hope things go well when you have ideas, but when it just all falls into place like that in just one of the most perfect ways, the entire show, like you said, anybody who talks about that show, anything they say about that show, whether it's that moment, your moment, any moment, they're all like, man, it just couldn't have went any better. And I was like, well, that's what you're striving to do.
100%, man. And we had a line in the building for 2 hours after that in the meet and greet. So, I
Yeah,
mean, they were. It was a very, very interesting, different, uh, powerful night.
yeah. I want to get to another fan question. This one from a guy named Andy. Oddly enough, you just named a guy named Andy. This guy named Andy, I think this guy's pretty big as well, says, as someone who's watched and experienced your growth firsthand, I'd like to know what your driving force is behind the obvious passion for our business.
Well, that guy who's named Andy, who may also be big,
He
just so
sounds like it.
happens to also be one of my very close friends. And just so happens to be a guy who, as he said, witnessed my growth from the very, very beginning. Uh, Big Andy was on the NCW roster, which was the Friday night show at the arena. Uh, and he's got to see me go from ring announcing, which was my first ever job in front of people. I ring announced the Friday night show at the arena, uh, to working backstage and agenting matches and whatever. Well, agenting matches. I was greener than goose crap, but agenting matches and pretending like I knew what I was doing and just hoping nobody punched me in the face. But
Hmm.
he's got to be there since the very beginning. He's been a shoulder to lean on, and at times a very challenging opponent for me. Uh, Guys like him are my motivation, man. I know it sounds cliche, but really, you know, I love this business. I could sit here and talk about it till the cows come home, but love only gets you so far.
Hmm.
And you can love something, and if it don't love you back, then there's no use. You got to work at it. And my motivation to work at it, my motivation to do what I've done and fall into the positions that I fell into is having guys like him and guys like Scott Mason and guys like Jacob and JJ and my trainer Azriel, uh, and even my peers Austin Thorne and
Hmm.
guys who I trained with at the arena, guys who I've come up around, Hunter James,
Yeah.
you know, Nick Halen, who obviously I didn't come up around, but Nick's become a very dear mentor of mine over the last couple of years. My brother, Lev, uh, we're not blood related, but he is, I could not think of a closer confidant human being in this world to go up and down the roads with and share my journey with than him. Uh, Even old Mother Frosty, possessed by spirit, all these guys have all contributed to my growth. They've
Yeah.
all inspired my growth in some way, and they're the driving force because I look back at those guys and I look in front of me at those guys. You know, the guys I'm chasing to be as good as those guys one day, and the guys that I used to mob with back in the day. That's my motivation because I look at them and I say I can't give up. I can't half-ass this. I have to do what I want to do. I have to just take this thing by the balls and run with it. Um, and that's been my main reason for going and going and going is I don't want to let anybody down. I don't want to not reach my potential, not just in my eyes, but in those guys.
Exactly. And of course, we're talking to the dark horse, Xander Seabolt, here on Pro Wrestling Underground. Andy also had a follow up. He wants to know what's the 5 year plan.
Uh,
This is always a hard
to
question for
be,
anybody.
I mean, to be frank, I didn't think I was going to make it the first 5 years. You know, uh, I struggle a lot with self-confidence. As crazy as that is to, may sound, the guys that know me know, but I didn't know that I cut out for it. And so I look back on these first 5 years and going into my sixth year now, but I look back on these first 5 years and I'm like, crap, I wish I could live it all again, you know. If I
Yep.
knew what I do now, if I knew what I know now 5 years ago, I'd be a lot more confident. Probably wouldn't be a good thing though, because I'd be a lot more egotistical as well. But I can't believe I've made it this far. And
Yep.
some guys who've been in this for 2 years, make it on to AEW, make it to NXT or whatever. That's all well and good. But for me, 5 years in, this is where I want to be. I want to go farther in the next 5 years. I'd love to wrestle for AEW. I'd love to wrestle for NXT one day. I want to go out. I want to make a living out of this. So to say I have a 5 year plan specifically, I'd be lying to you because I just take every day as it comes. I take every opportunity as it comes. But generally, if there is a 5 year plan, it's just to get better, to work on myself more, to get better shape, which I'm, working at, uh, and to take it more seriously than I do now. I already take it very seriously, but you know, I just got to keep working. So that's what the next 5 years are going to look like. Maybe by year 10, I'll be sitting here talking to you. Maybe by year 10, I'll be wrestling somewhere else. I realistically, maybe by year 10, I won't be here. I would love to be here. Uh, there's nothing that says I'm going to not be here, but you know, I take every day as it comes and I take every journey as it comes. And for me, it's not about the race, it's the journey. It's the steps in between, it's the moments in between. It's not getting ahead of yourself. It's not getting in a hurry. It's not wanting the world and not being ready to have the world. you've got to build yourself to get to that point. So it's gonna take every day as it comes, man.
Exactly. That's all you can do. You can only take one step at a time. That's what I tell people. It's famously my mom would tell me as a kid, you put your right foot and then you put your left foot in front of it. And you put your right foot in front of that again. And that's all you can do. You can only take one step at a time. You can't do two. Even if you put both together and hop, you still took one step. You can only go one step at a time.
100%, man. And that's something that I feel like a lot of guys my generation kind of struggle with a little bit. Because they see, for example, they see a Jackson Drake or a Sean Legacy or Javon Evans. Uh, they see these guys go to NXT, and Sean's been wrestling for a few years longer than they have, but
Yeah.
you know, Javon's a year younger than me. Jackson's a year, or Javon, no, Javon's 2 years younger than me. Jackson's a year younger than I am, I think. Uh, and it's like a lot of guys in my generation who are kind of upper echelon people, and especially people a few years older than me, they want to get in a hurry. They want it to be now. They don't want to enjoy the ride. They just
Right.
want to get there, get there, get there. And I 100% I understand being hungry for this. And I understand, I want to get to the big leagues as soon as I can. I want to be on the grandest stage as soon as I can get there. There's nothing wrong with those guys for wanting that, quite the opposite. It's a very admirable factor, but it's just not my kind of thing. For me, I love this, and I'll take every step I have to take to get there. And, maybe I'll get there one day. I will make a living in this business somehow one day. That is my goal. If I have one goal, it's that I will make a living. I don't know if I'll be wrestling. I could be popping the popcorn, but I will make a living out of this one day. My best friend in the whole wide world is a seamstress. He makes, or seamster rather. Sorry, he's not a girl, but he's a seamster. He sews. He makes wrestling gear. Uh, he lost his entire life and then got it back, and it took him 20 years to get back to where he wanted to go. And I look at somebody like him, and I can't help but be inspired because, uh, you know, he's made a living out of this for the last decade and a half. He's making more money than you would absolutely expect anybody making gear to make. But if you knew the kind of work he did, you know why. That's besides the
Mhm.
point. But that's I point to that, and I'm like, he can make a living sewing gear. I can make a living doing anything I want to do as long as I put my mind to it, and as long as I'm dedicated enough to do it. I will make a living in this business. I will make a living out of professional wrestling, one way or the other. I don't know what that'll look like 5, 10, 20 years from now, but I will do it. And I would love for it to be as a wrestler. That's obviously my goal. It should be the goal of anybody who's taking bumps off their bump card and, you know, beating themselves up for this, is you don't want to be wrestling in the same places forever. But if it's not as a wrestler, it'll be as something else. I'm gonna make my living doing this. Whatever it happens, it happens. I'm not in a hurry. I just want to enjoy the moment now. So
Exactly. You are. I'm gonna have to spend this because people are gonna assume what's normally said with it. But you are like a moth to the flame, but it's going to be a completely different result. You are absolutely focus driven on this is my task. I'm gonna get there. Except for instead of getting consumed by the flame when you get there, you're gonna thrive.
yeah, and to kind of piggyback off of that, the goal of the moth and the flame is the moth wants to be as close to the light as possible, right?
Mhm.
Icarus wanted to be as close to the sun as he could get, but he got so close that he fell in. I don't want to be so close I fall in. I don't want to get burnt. I just want to hover around the lamp and enjoy being warm and enjoy the light. So, you know, if I fly straight into it, I'll get consumed by it. But if I kind of just stay around it, I'll be satisfied for much longer period of time than just chewing myself up and spitting myself out and then living the next 2 decades of my life wondering what was or what could have been.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, I've got to get to so many other places you are. You have done work with AWE in the past. Um, you have also, we're going to see you here actually, we're going to, Saturday. Gosh, I'm going to get yelled at by Phil now. Saturday at NAWA Ring Champions. You're going to face that one of those guys we just mentioned in Ashton Martin. I know you guys have crossed paths before, but up there at NAWA, I kind of saw this collision course happening. And Ashton, I wish you the best of luck because I'm pretty sure Xander's going to have something for you. Isn't that right?
I said it earlier, and I won't pretend like I was lying. Ashton's a good kid, and he's really good wrestler, but he's also he's also a kid. He's 19 years old, which I'm not that much older than him, but I'm older enough to, I've had some years on me, and he's just gonna have to learn one way or the other. You don't cross me. He interfered in that match last month. Which I had nothing to do with that, nothing to do with Big Andy and Chris Nelm splitting up. I had nothing to do with that, but
No.
he put his nose in my business, and it's a long list of guys who stick their nose in my business. You're gonna get burned, you know. And same goes for Ash. He's a good kid, but he's gonna have to learn a lesson on Saturday. So maybe he'll just take it on the chin, and we can part from this as mutual, at least having mutual respect. But one way or the other, he's going to learn.
Things kind of twist what we said a while ago. In this case, you are the flame, and all those moths that are getting in your way and crossing your path the wrong time are going to get a little too close and they're going to get burned.
They're getting a little too close. Ashton's a moth. Shade's more like what's left of a moth after after it runs into a windshield. And by the way, uh, you know what the last thing a moth sees when it hits the windshield?
What's that?
It's ass. Anyway, uh, that's a joke that my friend Blake, his grandpa, used to tell me, and I used to fall for it every time. Anyways, uh,
It's true too.
I hope that wasn't too languagey for the show. But
Nah,
anyway,
we're on the underground. We're on the underground of pro wrestling. I mean, we're always we operate more in the gray than the black and white ever.
we're on the underground, maybe. Anyway, yeah, guys just sticking their nose in my business, man. I don't know what it is. You know, I guess when you start to hit a certain point, people start to see it. They got to be a part of it. Hats off to them, but they ain't gonna like being a part of it.
Yep, absolutely. It's fun to walk on the train tracks until the train starts coming, and then you're going to get hit by the train.
Yep, 100%.
Now, of course, down at Southern Fried, you took on Billy Buck as we mentioned earlier at the Shindig event in a bull rope match. Um, kind of what went into that being a bull rope match, and kind of walk us through how that night went.
All right, so to make a very, very long story short, uh, Billy again was a victim of sticking his nose in my business. We wrestled on a show back in probably January or February, and he beat me, and I'll admit that he beat me. Uh, but I just had a problem with the way he did it. Just had a problem with his demeanor and everything. So I threw a fireball in his face and lit him on fire. Uh,
There's
which
that
really
flame
isn't
again.
which really isn't such a big deal. All things considered, people have been fireballed in the past. Ronnie Garvin was fireballed. I mean, it's not the first time it's happened, and I didn't hurt him nearly as bad as Ronnie Garvin was hurt when he got fireballed by Jim Cornette. So,
Right.
uh, the way I see it, he lucked out, but he didn't see it that way. And some things happened, and I poked the bear a little bit. He had managed to super kick a ring announcer at some point during all that,
Which sounds like a
which
him problem.
I had absolutely nothing to do with. And if he He's a danger, but that's besides the point. He's a danger to himself and a danger to the people around him. So yeah, one thing led to another. Several months of back and forths and what may have you. So I got suspended at one point because David Manders is a crook. Uh, but
I've
then
heard that.
it all came to a head at Shindig a few weeks ago. We had a bull rope match, and hit him so hard with the cowbell I put a 2-inch gash in his scalp. Uh, which I'm, you know what? You got my business, man, and now you're gonna have something to remember that for the rest of your life. Anytime you fill up in your hairline, you're gonna have a little piece of me. So, uh, one thing, it happened. He beat me again. I'm not afraid to admit it. He beat me. But it is what it is. It was a interesting time. First ever bull rope match. Yeah, had a lot of fun with it, but in the end, he got me. So I'll take it on the chin. And
There you go. That's an honorable thing too, is to go, hey, he got me on that day. Doesn't mean he'll get me the next time, and we both move on.
he won't get me the next time. And now he's because he pissed all over me, but really he pissed all over JJ. Uh,
Yeah,
he's messed with JJ a lot, and David Manders has messed with JJ a lot, and now they've got a tag team match coming up. It's Billy Buck and David Manders versus Jacob and JJ, and that'll be on July 18th, next Saturday.
wow.
And we've had JJ in the gym. Me and Jacob have. We've had him in the gym. We've been training him. He's been doing push-ups, sit-ups, shit-ups. He threw up once, but he's okay now. And you know, it is what it is. Jacob's gonna take care of Billy, and then JJ's gonna take care of David. Finally, run that Cardi full out of wrestling once and for all. So it'll be a
There you
great
go.
day that day, July 18th.
There you go. Occasionally on this show, we get
And
spoiler alerts.
I'll be
There's one right
wrestling
there.
Adrian. I'll be wrestling Adrian Hawkins on that day, which is the first time
Oh,
match for me. Uh, he's pretty much the only member they approved I haven't wrestled besides Rob Adonis. So that'll be interesting to wrestle Adrian finally and just step on another landmark arena Wildside Anarchy legend and use him as a stepping stool on my way to the top at Southern Fried too. So
there you go. Just everybody enjoy the ride here, because everybody, you just mapped out, like I said, all the spoiler alerts. If you guys want to know, forget the 5-year plan. Xander just told you what the 6-month plan is.
there you go. I'm Tony Schiavone on an episode of Nitro, baby. I'm telling you what's happening on the other channel. Anyways,
Exactly. Exactly. By the way, Mick Foley is going to win the world title later. I did hear that.
yeah, what a stupid decision that was to say that. Anyways, it's how you lose a 2.5-year lead. Anyway,
Oh yeah, and you lose it in 3.5 hours.
yep, because I don't, Mick Foley was literally gone in 1999. I don't know
Yeah,
what in the world, why you would do that, but nonetheless,
that could be a
nonetheless,
whole other show that me and you could do, and it would probably be a month-long show that we could debate that entire moment.
that could be. Do you know what the first time I ever listened to Tony Schiavone's commentary in person? Uh, which you're like in person, what? My school took a field trip to, I think they're the Stripers now, the AAA
Yeah,
team for the
yeah,
Braves.
yeah.
They
Up
were
in
the
Gwinnett.
Gwinnett Braves at that point. And Tony Schiavone was doing field
Hmm.
commentary. And me and Blake went together because we were in school together. So, of course, we did. We were wrestling fans. And the PA announcer said, on commentary today is Mr. Tony Schiavone. And we went, what the hell? Tony Schiavone? What's he doing commentating baseball? We
Yeah,
hadn't registered that it had been like 16 years since WCW closed down and he was commentating baseball and what may have you at that point. It just kind of struck us that we were, and he did. He commentated the whole baseball game. We were like, oh, this is pretty cool. Kind of
yeah.
paths crossing over and everything. A little total side tangent, but uh, Yeah, it just popped into my head.
Yeah, I remember that because he was on. I think he was on 680 The Fan locally. He was on the radio all the time. He was commentating and doing striper games on the field, like you said. And hey, he was still putting the work in. Shivani's one of those guys. And to answer your question, though, at the time you didn't know why he was doing that there, but the reason why was the moment that spawned that in your head was because Monday Nitro announced the spoiler alert for WWE and lost their lead, and that started the downfall that ultimately got him calling striper game.
Yep, I was one decision he made in 1999, and it bit him in the ass 23
Yep,
years later. It's crazy. You know, and
it is.
I love Tony's commentary. I've loved him
Sure.
on World Championship Wrestling, you know, Crockett TV and stuff. But that was just a really bad call that day, probably. And it wasn't his call to make. You know, it was the powers that be at WCW
Right.
Time Warner. But it was a very, very bad call.
It
Very, very
it
bad call.
absolutely was.
They
Absolutely
just
was.
that was their jump the shark moment. You know, they had
Hmm.
all of that beef with WWF for, you know, 4 years at that point, really, but the last two, really, you know.
Yep.
And they'd gotten away with just about everything, you know, but they jumped the shark. They
Yep.
jumped the shark.
And they picked the wrong shark to jump.
God, yeah, that was whoever did that was probably punching the air after they made that call. Like, oh shit, we just lost like 3 million viewers. What are we gonna do? You know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because it was super quick for people who don't know. It
Anyway,
really
here's
was.
Lash LaRue. I don't know.
Yeah. I think he was. I think he was on that show. Bless that guy. God bless that guy. But
Yeah.
as we're finishing
Anyways,
up, as we're finishing up here with the seven cities of gold. No, that's not Villarica. That's Talanaga folk. The
yep.
pride of the seven cities of gold, and that will be a whole different podcast. We talk about golden cities in Georgia because there's really one. But we finished up here with the Darkhorse Xander Seabolt. Let's see. As we said, Premier All-Star on the 25th. NAWA is this Saturday in Calhoun at the spot 365, as you will take on Ashton Martin there. Got to get everybody in. Square Circle every Friday, correct?
Yep, I'm wrestling Nick Halen. He wanted his rematch this Friday for the championship, so it'll be me and Nick Halen, presumably the main event on Friday. So,
And I know I don't have to tell you this, but you gotta keep your head on a swivel because I feel like there is a motherly presence who will be watching, if not a little close.
yeah, I kind of have a feeling about that. And you always got to eat your Wheaties when you're wrestling Nick, anyway. So,
Yeah,
definitely going to be on my A game Friday.
yeah, it's just yeah, you never know. It always feels like there's that motherly presence just all around you.
Well, the lights go out whenever he's about to show up, and that's just when you know it's all went to hell's when the lights go out. It's
That's
happened to me
true.
and Nick before. I'm sure it'll happen to me and Nick again. But if it happens to me and Nick Friday, I might just have to kick that guy in the face again.
There you go. Hitting with that thick kick and all she wrote. Uh, did we miss? I'm trying. Let's see. We talked. I just want to make sure I don't forget them because these promoters will come at me big time. And I know I'm doing this on the show, but I like to make sure to get everybody in, talk about everybody because everybody is important. It's fun to talk Georgia wrestling. It is more fun to have top talents in Georgia wrestling on the show. Um,
Our friends at AWE, Southern
yeah,
Fried Gaming Expo, I think it's the last Friday and first Saturday, then, of course, in August. It kind of runs together. I think it's July 31st
31st.
and August 1st is a Friday and Saturday. So
Mm-hmm.
they got their academy open now with Joe Black and Murder One. They'll be training, which God,
What a
I
school!
can't.
What a school!
Yeah, those kids who enroll in that academy are in for an education. Uh,
Yeah,
Joe is a wizard when it comes to this, and Murder One is a psychology master. And all of the hookups those guys have got, all those guest coaches that are be coming in. Eddie Kingston's coming in September, I think, to AWA
yep.
also.
He is.
It's gonna be a really good time for AWE.
Yeah, they without even holding their first practice or anything, they have now been added to the list of when people ask, "Hey, what's a good school?" Well, if you live close enough to the El Palenque Event Center in Marietta, I would say that one because you're going to remember your training, but you're going to come out of that ready to take on the world.
100%, man. It's a testament to those guys when literally their reputation precedes them, and without even holding a single class, you already know that training school is going to be hot stuff. So good luck and God bless to all those guys that enroll there. You know,
And
they're
gals,
gonna.
I feel like there's going to be some killers come out of that.
Yeah, oh yes, yeah. Joe and Uno are gonna take good care of them, but
Yep.
they're gonna they're gonna learn a lot from them. So that's gonna be really fun.
But let's see. All right. Well, then I will leave us with the two questions I like to end with anyway, and we'll make it about NAWA because that is the nearest show coming up outside of SCA for you here. What is or do you have a message for the fans that whether they're on the fence about coming to NAWA or whether they're already going to be there? What's your message to the fans for that show on Saturday?
Man, don't miss it. It's a really nice venue. It's a very intimate venue. But Phil has been promoting as long as wrestling has existed on this planet. Basically, his social security number is one. So he's been promoting a long time. He's had a lot of great shows, and this is the run of a lifetime for him, and the run of a lifetime for everybody at NAWA. So if you're not coming, if you're on the fence about coming, don't miss it, man. This is just the start of some great things for them, and don't miss me because I am the dark horse. You may not understand it when you see it, but when you watch me wrestle, you're gonna know.
Oh yeah, you absolutely will. And before I leave you with the last question, I'm gonna run over that card real quick. Um, I honestly don't know if these are two singles matches or if this is a tag match because of the way. Maybe you know the answer to this. It involves Christian Pierce, Justin Ramey, R.C. Daniels, and Justin McKenzie. Do you know if that is a tag match or if that is two singles matches?
Well, as a guy who has made posters in the past, if I pull up that card real quick, I'll be able to tell you. I
Well, you
don't
can't. Well, you can't really
whoever
fit. Yeah.
whatever goofball made this poster, and I don't know who he is, but it's
Uh,
really
I
stupid.
don't know.
And
They need to give him like a paid week off with on like a beach with a hammock and a fruity drink or something.
they need to give him an ice pick and a hammer so he can lobotomize himself and save a couple brain cells. But anyway,
Or,
that's probably two singles matches, I think.
okay,
Christian Pierce is
that's the way it
crazy.
looks. But somebody brought up that it could be a tag match because technically Ramey and Pierce can be a lot more heelish. But I also countered with R.C. Daniels as a heel majority of places he is. So
Yeah, either way, that's gonna be two really good matches, man. Christian
yeah,
Pierce is a dog. He is really, really, really good at his craft.
yeah,
Justin Ramey's an NAWA original. He wrestled there when he was 16 years old,
wow,
and he's just made a comeback into wrestling. And he's pretty much as good as he was when he left. RC Daniels is on the rise, man. I'm proud of that kid. He's done a lot of good stuff. And excuse me, Justin McKenzie is crazy. I mean, his reputation precedes him, but he's one of the rookies. He's not really a rookie anymore, I guess, but he is one of the top young guys in the state, even in Alabama. So those are going to be two really good matches.
on a very early episode of this very show, me and Mr. Mark, he started the statement and I finished it that Justin McKenzie is on the short list of people that you should pay a few dollars to see him locally before one of these companies zap him up this early on that you might need a streaming service to see him in the near future.
100%, man. He has got all of the tools that the WWE I think is looking for right now. He's He's got the
Mm-hmm.
high flying. He's extremely athletic. He's got personality. He's got charisma. He's got a following on social media, even, just
Yep.
based off of his wrestling alone. He's not an expat from some other thing coming into wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
He started, as a wrestler, and that's where he's got his social media following from.
Yep.
So, I mean, he's a tool to have on any show, and like you said, these guys better pay to see him now while they can. Before he gets TKO'd, and then you have to pay $500 to see him from the nosebleeds. No, I'm just kidding. But no, he's a good guy.
I think it was $4.97. I think there's a promo code you can use to get a couple dollars off now. I think it's $4.97 to sit in the 300.
Uh,
I'm not afraid to go at them. They don't pay me,
you know what? They make millions and millions and millions of dollars a year, and I
and I
make
don't.
millions and millions and millions of dollars in 48 lifetimes. So
Yep.
that's probably about how long it would take me to make the money they.
Yeah, they're good at it. I'll give them that. But since they don't sponsor the show, I won't defend them. Also, Draco Starks versus Hunter Drake. Draco Starks was just on this show, former NXT, former Evolve, just coming out of their system. Him and Skrilla have had complete bangers. Now he gets Hunter James. He had a lot to say last week about that. If you want to tune back into that one, that's going to be incredible. You and Ashton that we talked about, a match that is just gonna be one of the most entertaining carnivals you've ever seen in your life, where you get Madman Mason, or as Ashton referred to him, Daddy Saurus in all his glory. I think he called it something like that. I keep threatening to make that an actual chant, but I'm not sure I can outrun him, so I haven't done it yet. But him and Simon Sermon, as Mason came to Simon's aid at the last show, Madman Mason and Simon Sermon on one team against Mother Frost, that has gotten a lot of coverage in this one, and Lamar Phillips, who is the modern day Viking. You could not pick four more distinct personalities and put them in the same arena.
Yeah, that is a hell of a match.
Yeah,
That is a
that is
hell of a
and
match. I
and
don't.
I'll be honest, if it's not nailed down, and even if it is, it might be fair game. So, folks, if you're on the front row, I got to check with Phil. I may have to move back a row. If you're on the front row, you might be fair game for this match.
Madman Mason's crazier than a rainbow trout in a car wash, and so is Mother Frost, and Simon Sermon and Lamar Phillips have 20 years of Patreon, so it's going to be something. That's a really cool match. If you're a fan of West Georgia wrestling and have been throughout the years, anytime you see Simon and Lamar in a ring together, it's going to be really good. So
Oh yeah, and then we can't gloss over the main event, where second generation future star, as it says on the thing here, uh, on the billing, Avery Styles in his this is either match number 2 or number 3. I don't know how many he's had in
this will be
between.
match number two.
This is number 2. Okay, so
Yep.
in his second match, and is he going to get Aston Martin again? No, Aston Martin gets you in the draw. He's going to get a guy who I don't know that I would want my second match to be against, because it's Alexander Lev. He is another one who heads up that list of people that you are going to need a streaming service to see in the very near future. Alexander Lev is one of the absolute best, not just in this area, one of the absolute best. Throw Hunter James on that list. I ain't got time to go through the entire list. But if I'm Avery Styles, I'm asking anybody that'll listen, and most people that won't, including my own father, what did I do to piss that guy off that I'm gonna have to go head on into Alexander Lev, because that is he is not in a good mood after the way Nick Nemeth left him laying at the last show, and he's not gonna be in a good mood after I just reminded him of that. And Avery Styles is gonna draw the short straw here, and he's gonna have to bring it, because Lev's gonna want to make a point.
It's that's very interesting match. Very knowing Lev's influences and everything, and obviously Lev's got a history with AJ that's been publicly documented.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very complex match to wrap your head around. That's going to be like
And
Ring of Honor strong style Northeastern wrestling at its finest. That's gonna be really
And
good.
we buried the lead that the best manager of all time, John Johnson, is in left corner. So, it's you thought you were already going to get a big time bout, and then we added the best manager to the list here. So this is absolute must see, the entire card.
You never know when a foot's gonna end up on a rope or under a rope, or you never know when somebody's gonna end up tripped up with JJ at ringside. So best of luck to the kid. He's gonna need it
Yep,
because he's got a lot working against.
he absolutely does. Um, so anybody that wants to know in the area, that is on Saturday, as I said, in Calhoun. SCA is going to be this Friday night in the Royston Dome, still in the Royston Dome, right?
Yep, Royston Dome
Okay.
always 305 Cherry Street, Royston, Georgia. We're there every single Friday night. Will be for the rest of the year, as far as I can think of. We take off a couple days every year for certain holidays, but as far as I know, we might be clean through the rest of the year. If we're not, sorry, but we probably are.
There's a good chance they are. So I will leave it with the last question. And of course, that will be, what is your final message to the headband hero himself, Ashton Martin, for Saturday?
Ashton, you're a good kid. You're an even better worker, even better wrestler. Uh, Probably chances are you're going to take off and go do great things in life, but Saturday night in Calhoun, you got to get past the Darkhorse. You got to get past the fire starter. You got to get past me. And just think, this match wouldn't be happening had you not stuck your nose in my business. But you did what you did, so I'm going to have to do what I got to do. So I'll see you then.
Absolutely. And of course, we will all see you then. I will be in attendance at that one as well. As I just documented, I may have to negotiate to move back a level for that one match. But Xander, it's been fantastic having you on. We will definitely have you on later on down the road as well. And the way it goes, best wishes on Friday, and we will see you Saturday at the show.
Jeremy, thank you for having me on, man. This has been a lot of fun. Anytime you want me back, just let me know and we'll figure something out.
And this has been a special edition of Pro Wrestling Underground. Meet us at the Underground each and every week as we talk Georgia independent wrestling. For my still missing co-host, I may need to talk to that motherly presence about where he went, Mr.
Come
Mark.
back, Ryan. Anyway.
Yeah, still had to figure out where he is. But for my co-host, Mr. Mark, I am Jeremy, the Impact York. We will see you guys next week. Deuces, gooses. Go watch wrestling.